Welcome to the Millionaire Book Club. My name is Pearlie Hunter. Side effects of tapping in with me every single morning do include personal development, mindset transformations, paradigm shifts, and the ability to think your way to success. So I am super blessed today, super grateful. I am pre-recording this live right now for tomorrow's read, since Fridays will now be pre-recorded. So today, this will be for July 9th, okay? July 9th, 2021. So drop me something that you're grateful for in the chat. I am super grateful for you. I'm super grateful for this day. I'm super grateful for my life. I'm super grateful for another chance to serve in my purpose. I'm grateful for my parents. I'm grateful for my spouse, my children. I'm grateful for all of our health. I'm grateful for my soul family. I'm grateful for nature. I'm grateful for technology. I'm grateful for love. I'm grateful for light. I'm grateful for divine guidance, divine wisdom, divine love. I'm grateful for the season that we in right now. I'm grateful for it being the third quarter and knowing everything that I've been planting, the harvest and the reap feels good. I'm grateful for just being a vessel for divine information, for divine love and light. I'm grateful to be chosen to be the one to bring this information to whoever is seeking it, whoever is out there seeking self-awareness, self-discovery, self-mastery, who's seeking to live and operate more easily with the universe, right? To not feel so burdened and so hard, like everything is so hard. I'm just grateful to know that I am a co-creator. I am powerful. I'm grateful to be in a position to uplift other people and impact and inspire. So yes, drop me something that you're grateful for today. I'll go ahead and get the daily word read. I definitely will go back and read your comments. I'm super grateful that you're here, taking the time to do what you need to do for you, right? Taking the time to pour into your cup, to fill your cup before the day gets started. And we got to be everything for everybody. This hour of power that we have to pour into ourselves, to fill our cups, is nothing like it, okay? It's powerful. It's very powerful, okay? Your higher self is loving you for this. Your higher self loves you for this. Okay. So I'll get the word read. The daily word for Friday, July 9th is energetic. Okay. Energetic. I am recharged by the life energy of God. Just as I revitalize my energy each day with exercise, proper rest, and nutritious food, I remember to recharge my spiritual batteries as well. I take time to feel the divine life that animates me. This God energy courses through every atom, molecule, and cell of my body, enlivening me. I can look to nature to see this life force in action. As I become receptive to the world around me, I absorb the life essence that is circulating in all the radiant, abundant forms of natural beauty. This heightens my vibration and energizes my emotions and thoughts. My heart grows light as I grow in awareness of this enlivening spiritual presence within me. With each breath I take, I feel more relaxed, more present to the truth that I am alive with God life. Do not lag in zeal. Be ardent in spirit. Okay, that is Romans 12:11. Energetic. Okay, bring that good energy with you wherever you go, right? You are responsible for your energy. You are the only one responsible for your energy. You are the only one responsible for what you given, right? No matter what nobody else is doing around you, that response is still coming from within you, right? Whatever you say, whatever you think, whatever you do, you're in the driver's seat, Okay. You are the director of this movie. Okay. So yes, be energetic, be happy, be a light, be bright. Okay. Let's pull a card. So I'm pulling from the Four Agreements deck. This is a deck by Don Miguel Ruiz. Definitely a great read. This was the 5th book we read in the book club. And it was great, y'all. It challenged our beliefs. It made us think about the programs that we were raised and reared under, right? The way that people basically told us what to think, told us what to feel. And it wasn't nothing wrong with that, right? They were just doing what they was taught, right? Literally just doing what they were taught. So let me pull this card. They all flying out as Jesus. I just need one or two. I like two, but I like it to just like fly out. Let's see. All right, we use these two. Oh, this was the one we got earlier, so we ain't gonna use this one. Assume nothing. Okay, so this is always do your best. Stay in the present moment. Always do your best. Stay in the present moment. Okay. Keep your attention on today and stay in the present moment. This is the beginning of a new understanding, a new dream. Okay. And be impeccable with your word today. Okay. Be impeccable with your word today. Create a beautiful dream today. Your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. Impeccability of the word only creates beauty, love, and heaven on earth. So what was I just saying about being responsible for your energy, being responsible for the things you say, the things you think, the things you do, right? You're the only one. You're the only one. All right. So if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube page, comment, leave me a comment so we can be in contact. Let me know that you were here, you showed up, you were in the building. And you know what? Go ahead and tag somebody in this. Tell a friend about this, right? This is not something that you keep to yourself. Help somebody else grow with you, okay? And why is part 2 grow? Can y'all see that? Part 2, which what we are starting, is grow, okay? So part 1 was letting go, right? We learned about how to let go of fears, how to let go of negativity, how to lead with intention, right? How to clearly identify our values. That was all in part 1. Now, part 2, we are going to grow. Okay. We cleaned up the garden of our mind, right? We cleaned out the negativity. We cleaned out the fears. We got down to the root of things. We know what we value. We know what our intentions are. Now that we've, the soil is, everything is good in our garden, in our mind garden, let's start growing, right? So part 2, grow. And this chapter is purpose. The nature of the scorpion. When you protect your dharma protects you. Okay. From the outside, being a monk looks like it's fundamentally about letting go. The baldness, the robes, stripping away distractions. In fact, the asceticism was less a goal than it was a means to an end. Letting go opened our minds. We spent our days in service, which was also designed to expand our minds. In the course of this service, we weren't supposed to gravitate to our favorite ways to serve, but rather to help out wherever and however it was needed. To experience and emphasize our willingness and flexibility, We rotated through various chores and activities instead of choosing roles and becoming specialists. Cooking, cleaning, gardening, caring for the cows, meditating, studying, praying, teaching, and so on. It took some work for me to truly see all activities as equal. I much preferred to study than to clean up after the cows. But we were told to see society as the organs of a body. No one organ was more important than another. All of them worked in concert, and the body needed them all. In spite of this equitable coexistence, it became clear that each of us had natural affinities. One might be drawn to tending the animals, not me. Another might take pleasure in cooking, again, not me. I'm an eat to live kind of guy. Another might get great satisfaction from gardening. We undertook such a breadth of activities that although we didn't indulge our particular passions, we could observe and reflect on where they lay. We could experiment with new skills, study them, see how improving them made us feel. What did we like? What felt natural and fulfilling? Why? If something like cleaning up after the cows made me uncomfortable, instead of turning away, I pushed myself to understand the feelings that lay at the root of my discomfort. I quickly identified my hatred for some of the most mundane chores as an ego issue. I thought them a waste of time when I could be learning. Once I admitted this to myself, I could explore whether cleaning had anything to offer me. Could I learn from a mop? Practice Sanskrit verse while planting potatoes? In the course of my chores, I observed that mop heads need to be completely flexible in order to get into every space and corner. Not every task is best served by something sturdy like a broom. To my monk mind, there was a worthwhile lesson in that. We need flexibility in order to access every corner of study and growth. Okay? We need flexibility. We can't be so rigid. When it came to planting potatoes, I found that the rhythm of it helped me remember verse, while the verse brought excitement to the potatoes. Exploring our strengths and weaknesses in the self-contained universe of the ashram helped lead each of us to our dharma. Dharma, like many Sanskrit terms, can't be defined by a single English word. Though to say something is your calling comes close. My definition of Dharma is an effort to make it practical to our lives today. I see Dharma as the combination of Varna and Seva. Think of Varna, also a word with complex meanings, as passion and skills. Seva is understanding the world's needs and selflessly serving others. When your natural talents and passions, your Varna, connect with what the universe needs, Seva, and become your purpose, you are living in your Dharma. Okay? When your natural talents and passions connect with what the universe needs and become your purpose, you are living in your Dharma. When you spend your time and energy living in your Dharma, you have the satisfaction of using your best abilities and doing something that matters to the world. Living in your Dharma is a certain route to fulfillment. Okay? So I will say the Millionaire Book Club is my Dharma, right? I took my natural talents, my natural passions, and I connected them with what the universe needs. The universe needs people to hear this information, to learn this information, to be exposed to it, right? At the very least, exposure. The universe needs that. They need people thinking on higher frequencies, right? They need people putting out higher vibrations. Okay. When you spend your time and energy living in your Dharma, you have the satisfaction of using your best abilities and doing something that matters to the world. Living in your Dharma is a certain route to fulfillment. In the first part of this book, we talked about becoming aware of and letting go of the influences and distractions that diverts us from a fulfilling life. Now we'll rebuild our lives around our guiding values and deepest intentions. This growth begins with Dharma. Two monks were washing their feet in a river when one of them realized that a scorpion was drowning in the water. He immediately picked it up and set it upon the bank. Though he was quick, the scorpion stung his hand. He resumed washing his feet. The other monk said, "Hey, look, that foolish scorpion fell right back in." The first monk leaned over, saved the scorpion again, and was again stung. The other monk asked him, "Brother, why do you rescue the scorpion when you know its nature is to sting?" "Because," the monk answered, "to save it is my nature." Right? The monk is modeling humility. He does not value his own pain above the scorpion's life. But the more relevant lesson here is that to save is so essential to the monk's nature that he is compelled and content to do it, even knowing the scorpion will sting him. The monk has so much faith in his Dharma, his purpose, that he is willing to suffer in order to fulfill it. Okay? Discovering Dharma. It is my first summer at the ashram. I've cleaned bathrooms, cooked potato curry, harvested cabbages. I've washed my own clothes by hand, which is not an easy chore. Our robes have as much material as bed sheets, and to scrub out food or grass stains would have qualified as a CrossFit workout of the day. One day, I'm scrubbing pots with the gusto of an overeager apprentice when a senior monk comes up to me. "We'd like you to lead a class this week," he says. The topic is this verse from the Gita. "Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues." I agree to do it. And as I return to scrubbing, I think about what I'll say. I understand the basic gist of the scripture. We teach by example. It taps into my understanding that who you are is not what you say, but how you behave. Who you are is not what you say, but how you behave. And it reminds me of a quote often attributed to St. Francis of Assisi. "Preach the gospel at all times. When necessary, use words." Many of the other monks, like me, didn't enter the ashram at age 5. They've been to mainstream schools, had girlfriends and boyfriends, watched TV and movies. They won't have trouble grasping the meaning of the verse. But I'm excited to figure out how I can make it feel fresh and relevant to their experiences outside the ashram. The aging computers in our library have an excruciatingly slow internet connection. I'm in India in the middle of nowhere, and it seems like every image takes an hour to download. After having done research on the speedy computers of a college library, I find the wait painful. But I know that over in the kitchen, my fellow monks are patiently waiting for water to boil. As they're doing, I try to respect the process. During my research, I become fascinated by the psychology of communication. I find studies by Albert Mehrabian showing that 55% of our communication is conveyed by body language. 38% is tone of voice, and a mere 7% is the actual words we speak. That's a general guideline, but even in situations where those percentages shift, the fact remains that most of our communication is nonverbal. I lose myself in exploring how we convey our messages and values, analyzing the communication styles of various leaders, and figuring out how it all adds up to be relevant in our lives. Among others, I read about Jane Goodall, who never intended to become a leader. She first entered the wilds of Tanzania to study chimpanzees in 1960. But her research and ongoing work have significantly redefined conservation, attracted women to her field, and inspired hundreds of thousands of young people to get involved in conservation. Our class gathers in a medium-sized room. I take my place on an elevated cushioned seat, and the students sit on cushions in front of me. I don't see myself as above them in any way, except for my elevated seat. We monks have already learned that everyone is always simultaneously a student and a teacher, right? Everyone is always simultaneously a student and a teacher. When I finish giving my talk, I'm pleased with how it's gone. I enjoyed sharing the ideas as much as I enjoyed researching them. People thank me, tell me that they appreciated the examples and how I made the ancient verse feel relevant. One or two asked me how I prepared. They've noticed how much work I put into it. As I bask in the glow of my satisfaction and their appreciation, I am beginning to realize my Dharma. Studying, experimenting with knowledge, and speaking. Everyone has a psychophysical nature which determines where they flourish and thrive. Dharma is using this natural inclination, the things you're good at, your thrive mode, to serve others. You should feel passion when the process is pleasing and your execution is skillful. And the response from others should be positive, showing that your passion has a purpose. This is the magic formula for Dharma. Passion plus expertise plus usefulness equal Dharma. If we're only excited when people say nice things about our work, it's a sign that we're not passionate about the work itself. And if we indulge our interests and skills, but nobody responds to them, then our passion is without purpose. If either piece is missing, we're not living our Dharma. When people fantasize about what they want to do and who they want to be, they don't often investigate fully enough to know if it suits their Dharma. People think they want to be in finance because they know it's lucrative, or they want to be a doctor because it's respected and honorable. But they move forward with no idea whether those professions suit them, if they will make the process, the environment, and the energy of the work, or whether they're any good at it. If they will like the process, the environment, and the energy of the work, or whether they're any good at it. Everything you are. There are two lies some of us hear when we're growing up. The first is, you'll never amount to anything. The second is, you can be anything you want to be. The truth is, you can't be anything you want, but you can be everything you are. Okay? You can't be anything you want, but you can be everything you are. A monk is a traveler, but the journey is inward, bringing us ever closer to our most authentic, confident, powerful self. There is no need to embark on an actual year-end province type quest to find your passion and purpose, as if it's a treasure buried in some distant land waiting to be discovered. Your Dharma is already with you. It's always been with you. It's woven into your being. If we keep our minds open and curious, our dharmas announce themselves. Even so, it can take years of exploration to uncover our dharma. One of our biggest challenges in today's world is the pressure to perform big right now, right? The pressure to perform big right now, to have it all together, to have it all figured out. Thanks to the early success of folks like Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and Snapchat co-founder Evan Spiegel, who became the youngest billionaire in the world at age 24, along with celebs such as Chance the Rapper and Bella Hadid, many of us feel that if we haven't found our calling and risen to the top in our fields in our 20s, we failed. Okay? Putting all of this pressure on people to achieve early is not only stressful, it can actually hinder success. According to Forbes magazine publisher Rich Karlgaard, in his book Late Bloomers, the majority of us don't hit our stride quite so early. But society's focus on academic testing, getting into the right colleges, and developing and selling an app for millions before you even get your degree, if you don't drop out to run your multi-million-dollar company, it's causing high levels of anxiety and depression, not only among those who haven't conquered the world by age 24, but even among those who've already made a significant mark. Many early achievers feel tremendous pressure to maintain that level of performance. But as Karlgaard points out, there are plenty of fantastically successful people who hit their strides later in life. The Bluest Eye, Toni Morrison's first novel, wasn't published until he was 39. And after a 10-year stint in college and time spent working as a ski instructor, Dietrich Mateschitz was 40 before he created blockbuster energy drink company Red Bull. Okay? Pay attention. Cultivate self-awareness. Feed your strengths, and you will find your way. Pay attention. Cultivate self-awareness. Feed your strengths, and you will find your way. And once you discover your dharma, pursue it. Okay? Pursue it. Go after it. Don't wait another second, another minute. Other people's dharma. Okay? Other people's dharma. Okay. The Bhagavad Gita says that it's better to do one's own dharma imperfectly than to do another's perfectly. It's better to do one's own dharma imperfectly than to do another's perfectly. Or, as Steve Jobs put it in his 2005 Stanford commencement address, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. In his autobiography, Andre Agassi dropped a bombshell on the world. The former world's number one tennis player, 8-time Grand Slam champion, and gold medal winner didn't like tennis. Agassi was pushed into playing by his father. And though he was incredible at the game, he hated playing. The fact that he was tremendously successful and made loads of money didn't matter. It wasn't his dharma, right? It wasn't his purpose. However, Agassi has transitioned his on-court success into his true passion. Instead of serving aces, he's now serving others. Along with providing other basic services for children in his native Nevada, the Andre Agassi Foundation runs a K-12 college preparatory school for at-risk youth. Our society is set up around strengthening our weaknesses rather than building our strengths. Okay? Our society is set up around strengthening our weaknesses rather than building our strengths. Okay? MOC for me. Okay? In school, if you get 3 A's and a D, all the adults around you are focused on that D. Our grades in school, scores on standardized tests, performance reviews, even our self-improvement efforts all highlight our insufficiencies and urge us to improve them. But what happens if we think of those weaknesses not as our failures, but as someone else's dharma? Sister Joan Chitster, a Benedictine nun, wrote, "It is trust in the limits of the self that makes us open, and it is trust in the gifts of others that makes us secure." Okay? It is trust in the limits of the self that makes us open, and it is trust in the gifts of others that makes us secure. We come to realize that we don't have to do everything, that we can't do everything, that what I can't do is someone else's gift and responsibility. My limitations make space for the gifts of other people, right? Instead of focusing on our weaknesses, we lean into our strengths and look for ways to make them central in our lives. Here are 2 important caveats. First, following your dharma doesn't mean you get a free pass. When it comes to skills, you should lean into your strengths. But if your weaknesses are emotional qualities like empathy, compassion, kindness, and generosity, you should never stop developing them. There's no point in being a tech wizard if you're not compassionate. You don't get to be a jerk just because you're skilled. Second, a bad grade in school doesn't mean you get to ditch the subject altogether. We have to be careful not to confuse inexperience with weakness. Some of us live outside our dharma because we haven't figured out what it is. It is important to experiment broadly before we reject options, and much of this experimentation is done in school and elsewhere when we're young. My own dharma emerged from some experiences I found extremely unpleasant. Before I taught that class at the ashram, I had a distaste for public speaking. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I took part in a school assembly where kids shared their cultural traditions. My mother dressed me as an Indian king, wrapping me in an ill-fitting sari-like getup that did nothing for my awkward body. The minute I walked on stage, kids started to laugh. I can't carry a tune for the life of me. And when I started to sing a prayer in transliterated Sanskrit, they lost it. I wasn't even 2 minutes in, and 500 kids and all the teachers were laughing at me. I forgot the lyrics and looked down at the sheet in front of me. But I couldn't read the words through my tears. My teacher had to walk out onto the stage and put her arm around me and lead me away as everyone continued to laugh. It was mortifying. From that moment, I hated the stage. Then, when I was 14, my parents forced me to attend a public speaking / drama after school program. 3 hours, 3 times a week for 4 years gave me the skills to stand up on stage. But I had nothing to talk about and took no pleasure in it. I was and still am shy, but that public speaking course changed my life. Because once that skill connected to my Dharma, I ran with it. After my first summer at the ashram ended, I was not yet a full-time monk. I returned to college and decided to try my hand at teaching again. I set up an extracurricular club called Think Out Loud, where every week people would come to hear me speak on a philosophical, spiritual, and or scientific topic, and then we discuss it. The topic for the first meeting was material problems, spiritual solutions. I love that. Material problems, spiritual solutions. I plan to explore how, as humans, we experience the same challenges, setbacks, and issues in life, and how spirituality can help us find the answer. Nobody showed up. It was a small room, and when it stayed empty, I thought, what can I learn from this? Then I carried on. I gave my talk to the empty room with my full energy because I felt the topic deserved it. Ever since then, I have been doing the same thing in one medium or another, starting a conversation about who we are and how we can find solutions to our daily challenges. I love how he said, then I carried on. I gave my talk to the empty room with my full energy because I felt the topic deserved it, right? Because that was his purpose. It wasn't for, his intention behind it wasn't for all of the people that would come, right? It was for his self level up, basically self practice. Okay. So ever since then, I have been doing the same thing in one medium or another, starting a conversation about who we are and how we can find solutions to our daily challenges. For the next meeting of Think Out Loud, I did a better job of distributing flyers and posters, and about 10 people showed up. The topic for my second attempt was the same: material problems, spiritual solutions. And I opened the discussion by playing a clip of the comedian Chris Rock doing a bit about how the pharmaceutical industry doesn't really want to cure diseases. It actually wants us to have a prolonged need for the medications that it produces. I tied this to a discussion of how we are looking for instant fixes instead of doing the real work of growth. Okay? We are looking for instant fixes, microwave blessings, instead of doing the real work of growth, self-discovery, self-awareness, self-mastery. I've always loved drawing from funny and contemporary examples to relate monk philosophy to our daily lives. Think Out Loud did just that every week for the next 3 years of college. By the time I graduated, the club had grown to 100 people and become a weekly 3-hour workshop. We've all got a special genius inside of us, but it may not be on the path that opens directly before us. There may be no visible path at all. My Dharma was not in one of the job tracks that were common at my school, but rather in the club that I founded there after a chance assignment at the ashram hinted at my Dharma. Our Dharmas don't hide, but sometimes we need to work patiently to recognize them. right? The thing we can do the best with the least amount of effort. As researchers Anders Ericsson and Robert Poole underscore in their book, peak mastery requires deliberate practice and lots of it. Okay? So self-mastery requires deliberate practice and lots of it. But if you love it, you do it. Picasso experimented with other forms of art, but kept painting as his focus. Michael Jordan did a stint at baseball, but basketball was where he really thrived. Play hardest in your area of strength, and you'll achieve depth, meaning, and satisfaction in your life. Okay? Play hardest in your area of strength. Don't spend your whole life trying to develop where your weak points, right? And just not ever growing or developing the strengths, right? But instead, where you're weak at, okay, that's fine. You're strong in so many other things. Develop your strengths, right? Put your energy and your time into that. Align with your passion. In order to unveil our Dharma, we have to identify our passions, the activities we both love and are naturally inclined to do well. It's clear to anyone who looks at the quadrants of potential that we should be spending as much time as possible at the upper right in quadrant 2, doing things that we're both good at and love. But life doesn't always work out that way. In fact, many of us find ourselves spending our careers in quadrant 1, working on things that we're good at but don't love. When we have time to spare, we hop over to quadrant 4 to indulge the hobbies and extracurriculars that we love, even though we never have enough time to become as good at them as we would like. Everyone can agree that we want to spend as little time as possible in quadrant 3. It's super depressing to hang out there doing things we don't love and aren't good at. So the question is, how can we move more of our time toward quadrant 2, doing things we are good at and love? You'll notice that I don't discuss the quadrants in numerical order. This is because quadrants 1 and 4 both offer half of what we want. So it makes sense to discuss them first. Okay? So this is where we are going to stop it for today, okay? All about purpose. And then I want to show y'all this little, it's like a drawing, right? I hope you can see. So he has the quadrants of potential, okay? So as I was speaking about quadrants, that's what I was talking about. Quadrants of potential. So Monday, when we pick up, we are going to be talking about the different quadrants. He's going to go into detail about them. He's going to explain them. And the question, how can we move more of our time and energy toward quadrant 2, doing things we are good at and love, right? And versus having skill but no passion, right? Having skill and no passion, or having no skill but passion. Okay, we want to be right there balanced. We want our skill to meet our passion, and we want beautiful Dharma fireworks to start popping off, right? So yes, family, that was a great read. I'm grateful to be learning about this. I'm grateful to be learning about Dharma. This is really like my first experience with it. Like, I always hear it as purpose, but I feel like it's the same thing. Your Dharma is your purpose, right? Being able to do the things, being able to do what you do well with the least amount of effort. What can you do? What are you good at? What is your strength? Not a weakness that you're working on developing, but a strong point, something that you were born with. You were just born doing this good, right? Over the years, over your growth, You became uberly good at what? At this, at that, right? Don't develop the weaknesses, develop the strengths. Okay, so that's where we're gonna end it for today, y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. I'm grateful for y'all always. Definitely leave me some comments, since this is pre-recorded and I don't have the live effect and the people, talking to y'all directly. Leave me some comments, interact with me, let me know what you felt about the read. If you took value from the read, drop me a 111 in the chat. If you had any MOCs, any moments of clarity, let me know what they were. If you think you know what your Dharma is, let me know what it is. If you think we can get on Zoom and we can like start working through these things together, if that's something y'all are open to. Because initially when I started this book club, I wanted it to be on Zoom so we could have that one-on-one communication. We could I could see y'all, you could unmute yourself and talk directly to me instead of like typing it. But yes, like, come on, family. We are a family. We are going to grow together. We've been at this for 6 months now, and I feel extremely blessed, extremely grateful to still be going strong every day, to still feel as excited about this adventure as I felt about it 6 months ago when I first started it, right? To just be on our 9th book. Like, that's something major. We are currently on our 9th read. Okay. That's wild, right? Going to number 10. So I'm just extremely blessed. I'm extremely grateful. I definitely want y'all to enjoy y'all weekend. Protect your energy this weekend. Protect your peace. Be a light. Be kind. Be kind to yourself, right? If you act in a way that you don't want to act, or that is not energetically responsible, forgive yourself and keep moving, right? Keep pushing forward from the present moment. Don't keep yourself held hostage in the past, right? Keep yourself right in the present moment, elevated, growing, grounded, knowing exactly what you are, whose you are, and what you are capable of. You are powerful. You are a co-creator with the source. Okay. So I am your sister in love. I am your sister in light. I love you guys. And I'll be back with you Monday morning, and we'll pick up on chapter 5, all about those quadrants, right? So y'all have a super fantastic, blessed day, blessed weekend, and I'll see y'all Monday.